Okay, in this video we have a BNR S4 Turbo here, and we are going to be porting out the wastegate.
So as you can see, the wastegate hole is smaller than the flap. Obviously, we're going to see if we can make that hole a little bit bigger, and hopefully it'll cure the boost creep we're having. We're also going to see if we can smooth this pathway out a little bit towards the wastegate, but we don't want to go too much because we don't want to completely take off the material. We're just going to give it a light port job just along this area here, smooth it out to give the exhaust gases a better path to the wastegate hole.
And we'll be doing that with these
carbide burr bits. I got these online. They're made for hardened material, so we're going to be dealing with cast iron, so these should do just fine. I got an assortment, different sizes, and we're going to use a power drill.
We're going to try just a normal battery powered Milwaukee, and if that doesn't do the job, I got a nice heavy duty 120 volt AC drill.
So the first step now is to separate the turbine housing from the rest of the turbocharger by loosening. Well, before we even loosen it, we want to mark it down, and then we'll loosen all of these 10mm bolts and then separate it.
And that way we know how to clock it when we put it back together.
Because we don't want to port this while it's still connected, because we don't want to get any debris touching the turbine wheel.
So the tabs are bent towards the nuts, and it'll be a good idea to rebend them once we put this thing back together so that the nuts can't shake themselves loose.
So these tabs here, we're working our way to bending them down so we can loosen these bolts. One thing I found that helps is just kind of hold a pry bar against it flat like so, and just hit in this area here just to flatten it down. See what I'm doing? Clocking it. I'm just marking it so we can put it back in the same orientation when we put it back together. These bolts are not too tight. Light little taps and they come loose. We've got all of the retaining brackets and bolts removed. Now I'm pretty sure we have to lightly tap on this turbine housing to separate it from the CHRA. So I think we're going to take something like this and just kind of tap it away, but we'll have to go slow. Not too sure how seized it is on there. We want to be careful because we don't want to damage the actual turbine wheel either, right?
So he held the turbo while I just kind of hit it with the soft end of the hammer. Lightly went around evenly until it came off, and we were careful not to have the turbine fall and damage these fins on the exhaust.
Looks pretty good.
Turbine, look at that. That's nice, man. There's like no play in that. It's just nice and solid.
Awesome. So now we can let the porting begin.
So that's what we're going to be messing with. We can put this in a safe location.
So usually people port out the hole. There isn't a way for me to remove this because it's been welded right here. So I'm gonna have to work around this door here. So the first thing we're gonna do is just give a mild port onto this area here to smooth the path out towards the wastegate hole. So just slowly remove material. You don't have to put too much pressure, but you kind of want to go to high speed, but let the tool do most of the cutting. So I don't want to go all too deep because I want to make sure that I still have enough material to absorb heat, but I think we have a lot of material here. Alright, so we're just finished now. We just finished the job. As you can see here, we've got a nice pathway to the wastegate hole. We just finished rinsing it with water, and we're going to dry it off and then coat it with some WD-40 and then wipe it off so it doesn't rust. We also widened up the wastegate hole itself a little bit. And hopefully this cures the boost creep. So now I'm just going to spray a light layer of WD-40 on the areas that I ported out, just to prevent surface rust while we're installing it, and that'll just burn off when the car runs. Okay, so I reattached the compressor housing to the turbine housing very easily. You just slowly slide it in gently.
Okay, so we're putting all those brackets in to hold the turbo, CHRA, and compressor side to the turbine housing, and then Eric's gonna bend those little tabs back up to prevent those nuts from backing up.
Okay, so now the turbo is back together. We've got all of the turbine housing brackets tightened down, and we've punched the anti-back out tabs back up. So you can see this is lifted up. We punched it back up, so in the event that this bolt does come loose, it won't fully come out. We've made sure our line is marked up, so we're lined up there. I can't speak, it's the morning, don't worry about it. I'm just inspecting the turbo feed line, the oil feed line, making sure that it's not clogged or dirty, which is good. Right in there, looks pretty good. You can see the port job here. Yeah, put a little WD-40 just to keep it from surface rust.
It took a lot of material off there, right?
Yeah, it took quite a bit. Just whatever it can do, whatever I can do to prevent boost creep. So I didn't get any knock there, so now we'll do a little bit of a pull, monitoring boost. Let's see how much it creeps up. I logged the last run and I'll log this one so I can look back at it on my computer to make sure everything is running safe in the meantime. We got a really conservative map, just running straight pump gas, really low ignition timing and 0 wastegate duty cycles. So let's see if we're getting boost creep here. We probably are, because you saw it shoot up to 20, so if it doesn't do anything, I don't know what to do. Might have to shave down that downpipe because it was still hitting the flange. Okay, so it creeps up to about 23 still, but you know what? This mainly gets driven in warmer weather anyways. So I'll just have to kind of stay out of it. Well then again, as long as the fuel system's not getting maxed out, we should be okay. So
The option to get a weaker spring?
I do have a BNR S3 wastegate actuator that might help, but at the same time we would still have to grind down the downpipe flange because it's still hitting the downpipe flange on the new CPE downpipe. We totally overlooked it when we installed it, and we realized last minute that it was still hitting that flange. But I'm pretty sure the porting job did something, because in this really cold weather it should have shot up a lot higher. The original reason why we wanted to port the wastegate out was to prevent boost creep in cold weather. So we took the turbo out, we ported it out. When we put it back in, we decided to put the full race turbo manifold and install the CPE catless downpipe. So a catless downpipe isn't going to help or prevent boost creep, it'll actually cause it. So the last time we checked, we were hitting about 24 PSI with the C&T catted downpipe and stock exhaust manifold. So, you know, even though we ported it, it didn't fully fix the issue because of all the other flow mods that we put in, like the catless downpipe and exhaust manifold. So we'll have to see how it goes with tuning.